I'm going to be using General Finishes Gel Stain in the Antique Walnut and a 4 by 10 inch pine board picked up at Lowe's, some paper towels, and a Gen foam brush. I'm going to start by placing some of the gel stain on my board, and using the Gen foam brush, I'm going to move it around and cover the entire board. You don't really need a whole lot. This product goes quite far. And once you have your board completely covered, you're going to take your paper towels and wipe it back. So this is a wipe on, wipe off stain. Once that's completely dry, I'm going to take my 1 hour enamel clear and cover the entire board. I'm going to be using my B10 Klingon. You do not need a lot of the 1 hour enamel. A little bit goes a long way. And here's my B10 Klingon. If you don't have a B10, you can use a Gen foam brush for this as well. And you're just going to pass over it one time. You don't need a lot of this product. And then I'm going to allow this to dry. It does dry in an hour. I'm going to be using Beautiful Home, redesigned by Prima Transfer today. Here's the image. It is a white transfer, which is very different from what I'm used to using. And this covers a 24 by 34 inch area. We're going to be cutting mine into pieces. I was able to complete 2 projects. As you're watching, you can see 2 projects, and I had plenty left over. The Klingon brushes and the transfer can be found at chocolatefancy.com. So one thing I noticed different about this transfer versus others is it wasn't very sticky. It almost floated on the board. So you really do need to either hold it very tightly in place, or as you can see, it doesn't really stick, or use some tape to hold it down. Now I'm going to go through the entire process of applying the transfer, but then as the video goes through, I'm going to kind of go quickly as it's the same process over and over. You're going to place your transfer down. You want to make sure there's no movement using tape and your hand. And then each transfer comes with this wooden stick that you're going to rub all over the image. And you can start to realize that the image is starting to lift from this top film. And you're going to take your time and just rub every area of the transfer until you start to see it releasing. And then at that point, you can gently pull the film back. And again, you want to do this slow and gently. If you notice that there's a part that didn't completely adhere, you lay it right back down and continue. So this is basically what it looks like. Now, this is a very important part. You want to take a cloth or something, and I have a paper towel, and you just want to rub aggressively on the image. And this is what really helps it adhere. It's called burnishing, and it is an important step so that your image does not lift back up on you, especially since pine is not a very flat surface. So you want to make sure that it's making contact in every location. So I'm using the home stencil from Hobby Lobby. You want to measure, make sure you have it centered. And then I'm covering, I'm holding it down with tape, and then I'm covering the bottom image and the top. There's a little scroll that I didn't want to use, so I'm covering that with tape. And I'm going to use 2 paper plates, one that's going to hold my Snow Owl by Wise Owl, if you found it, chocolatefancy.com. And I'm using a foam brush, a foam roller. It's called Whiz from Lowe's. And you're going to load and then unload on another paper plate because you don't want a lot of paint going on to this stencil. And you don't want to press down. You're just going to roll very gently, kind of going in different directions to fill, to cover your stencil. And then I'm just going to lift it up while it's still wet. And I'm going to use a small art brush to fill in some of the letters. This is not necessary. It's optional. So I turned my board upside down so you can see the top portion. I'm grabbing some more flowers. And again, you're going to use the same process that you did before. I'm going to be going through this quick, so you're not going to be seeing me go through it. I just want to show you placement. And then I turned it back around, making a plan. I'm going to cut out this little label. It's in a circular form. I'm going to put that on my O, which is kind of like a little wreath, putting that in the center. And then there's some wording that says home sweet. So I'm going to cut that in half and put the sweet on top so that my board says home sweet home. And again, you want to go to the first application to show you the correct way to apply these. It's a repetitive process, so I didn't see the need to show you everything, but I wanted to show you my placement. That was some French wording that was in the transfer. So now that I have everything kind of placed the way I want and all burnished and all ready to go, I'm going to go back to my 1 hour enamel. I try to wait a day to do this just to make sure that my image isn't lifting. And I'm using my Simply Simmons brush from Chalk It Up Fancy. You can find that there, and the 1 hour enamel, chalkitupfancy.com. And again, the transfer. And here you go. Here's my first project. So then I decided to show you what it would look like against black. I found this tag at Hobby Lobby. It was $8.99 and it was 50% off. And again, I'm not going to go through the process. I'm just going to show you my placement. I put the word home down here. And this transfer has a beautiful bee, my favorite. I love bees. And I placed that in the center with some French lettering. And then I just finished the French lettering that went on the top of that. And here you go. I really hope you enjoyed this video. For other tutorials, go check us out on YouTube. For all paint products, brushes, transfers, tissue paper, chalkitupfancy.com. Thank you so much.